body,
mind,
and rhythm. University Counseling Center and Hartshorn Health Services are joining forces to bring you the CSU Health Network.
Now you can find care for your body and mind in one place.
Located west of the library in the Hartshorn building and online at health.colostate.edu.
To make an appointment, call 970-491-7121.
CSU Health Network.
Care for body
and mind.
Welcome back to the Health Chat. Our topic today is spirituality. And I was going to ask you guys a question. A lot of times on campus, when it's warm out, there's people out on the plaza promoting religion, often Christianity, shouting to big crowds. I know there's been some debate whether that's okay, whether that shouldn't be okay. I mean, for someone who's really looking to maybe just find out their own personal spirituality, something we touched on a little bit earlier, where are some places they can turn? What can they do to really find peace within themselves and their own spirituality without having to get too bogged down by the bigger picture?
I think if people really tune into themselves and how they're feeling, that's a very good way. And then also just try different things on for size. Talk to friends, talk to family. What did they grow up with? What did they like about that? What did they not like? How do they feel when they listen to someone, hollering in the plaza, whatever. And just pay attention to that. I think that's any of our best guides.
Sure.
I agree. I often disagree with what I hear them saying on the plaza. At the same time, I love that they do that.
Yes.
Because it takes this topic and it pushes it to make me, and hopefully the people listening, evaluate where I am on this issue. We're not allowed to talk about it in the classroom very much, or maybe at all. It's certainly one of those areas that falls in the gray space, and it's a critical issue on college campuses, especially, I think, for 18 to 22-year-olds. I think they've been trying to decide what they believe that their parents taught them and their churches and their schools, and they're trying to say to themselves, wow, maybe I don't really agree with all that. And the people on the plaza get me to say, you know what, that's the stuff I couldn't stand, or that's the stuff I really resonate with. And now they're doing the exploration that I think is so critical around this topic.
So even just people debating it like we're doing now can be helpful to someone out there who thinks, maybe I'm all alone, maybe I agree with these people, maybe I don't agree, and all of a sudden they know where they stand.
Well, for me, this is the difference between religion and spirituality. Because for me, around religion, what we're talking about is a dogma. That this is a way to believe, and here's a book that tells you to do it, even though it can be interpreted a million different ways. This is how I interpret it, and I want you to interpret it the same way.
Right. This is the right way.
Right, and for me, that's not what this topic is about. This is about a journey, a path that I might not ever really fully come to grips with for myself or with my God or the energy in the universe, Buddha, whatever you want to call it. And the idea that I am on a journey is different than the idea that there's an answer.
Right.
And to me, oftentimes religion tells people that there is an answer. And the reason there's a million different religions is because I don't think anybody really knows the answer.
Right.
I have the answer. Do you want to know the answer? Everybody's part right.
Right.
Yeah.
There's the answer for the religion piece. If anybody had it all, we're all gone there.
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
the difference. It's the dogma piece of it.
Sure, and that leads right into our next question. Is it okay to be agnostic and still be spiritual? I think we've pretty much defined that's a separation here. You don't have to be into a religion to be spiritual. And there's practices you can do that comfort you without having to kind of characterize yourself by one of the big pillar religions.
I think one of the main things that's been going on lately is people say, I like this from here, and I like this from here, and this works for me, but that part, and so they kind of find their own particular mix of things that works. So I don't think there's any particular rules around you need to take all of this. You can take pieces that work.
I think there's a more difficult question than can you be agnostic and be spiritual, and that is, can you be atheist and be spiritual?
I think so.
I think so as well,
Absolutely.
except for, in my mind, what it does is it creates a redefinition of God. And God may mean very different things to very many people. So being an atheist means you don't believe in a God. Can you still be spiritual? Well, perhaps, except for if my spirituality is the energy in the universe, then that's my God. It just doesn't fit in the models that you've looked at, maybe with Jesus or Buddha or Moses or whomever.
And we were talking during the break a little bit, and I think it's really interesting is that sometimes there's studies that have found that people who are coping with kind of tougher times in their life turn to spirituality, and it seems to really help them and get them through something that it's breaking the boundaries of just ideas and beliefs, but it's actually helping these people, it seems, get through these tough times that are actual times in their lives. Could you touch on that just a bit?
Sure. I think a lot of that is the sense that I'm not always in charge about everything, and there's support from my belief system, maybe people that I'm surrounded with, and I think that's very comforting for people.
Sure.
And I don't think a panacea. I mean, I think it's a really genuine
Comfort.
Yeah.
I think especially when bad things happen, we have to try and make sense of when bad things happen. As a psychologist, I make my living listening to people share that bad things have happened in their life. I keep waiting for that patient to walk in and say, my life is great, here's $120, thanks for listening. And so people come in and they share bad things, and what we look at is, what's the bigger piece of this? What meaning can you bring from this? And sometimes things people talk about are really, really bad. And the only place I think you can make sense of it is to try and trust that there's some harmony somewhere, even if there wasn't any in your particular life right now.
Great. That's all the time we have for this episode of Health Chat. I want to thank again Tanja and Dr. Benn for sharing their thoughts on this kind of difficult issue to get a grasp of, but I think we've really cleared some things up. And like you said, even talking about it, putting it on the forefront can do a lot of good. Remember to take advantage of all the services provided to you by the Health Network, and we'll see you next time.
Body,
Mind.
and Rhythm. University Counseling Center and Hartshorn Health Services are joining forces to bring you the CSU Health Network.
Now you can find care for your body and mind in one place.
Located west of the library in the Hartshorn building and online at health.colostate.edu.
To make an appointment, call 970-491-7121.
CSU Health Network.
Care for body
And mind.